Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana says at least 11 soldiers are killed and another 7 are wounded Wednesday in a friendly fire airstrike during operations to rid Marawi City of members of the Maute group. Lorenzana says 2 military planes were flying at the time. The first plane hit its target accurately while the second one missed its target by around 100 meters and instead hit the soldiers. He tells Rappler that initial report says pilot error. He adds an investigation headed by Armed Forces Chief Eduardo Año is underway. Lorenzana says the military may decide to suspend airstrikes because of the incident and the evolving situation on the ground. He also says it was a conventional bomb, not a precision-guided missile that accidentally hit troops. Lorenzana says families have already been informed. He says, quote, "It's sad, but sometimes that happens. Maybe the coordination was not properly done, so we hit our own people." All 8 foreigners killed while fighting alongside Maute group members in Marawi City are believed to be members of ISIS. Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana confirmed this when asked if the 8 are considered ISIS. The ISIS foreign fighters are 2 Saudi Arabians, 2 Malaysians, 2 Indonesians, 1 Yemeni, 1 Chechen. He says more foreign fighters likely died in Marawi City, but their bodies have not been identified. Lorenzana says the foreign fighters probably passed through the country's backdoor in Zamboanga, which is closest to Indonesia or Malaysia. The Defense Secretary also confirms that, based on intelligence, Abu Sayyaf leader Isnilon Hapilon, now the supposed emir of ISIS in Southeast Asia, received millions from ISIS in the Middle East. He says the funding is partly why Hapilon was able to get as many as 500 fighters in Marawi City. But President Rodrigo Duterte on Thursday claims ISIS doesn't have any money to fund local terrorists. Former Senator Rene Saguisag slams Congress for being a lackey of President Rodrigo Duterte following his declaration of martial law in Mindanao. This after the House of Representatives and the Senate refused to convene a joint session to publicly deliberate on Duterte's declaration.
May Congress ba tayo?
Sir, hindi naman maaabuso sa tingin.
Hindi po, puro tameme eh. Ngayon, yung mga iba naman doon, puro jojo ngayon eh. I mean, wari.
He also hits Congress for being Duterte's yes man.
Namang Senado at House, ganun eh. Talagang, they are not voices, they are echoes. Kung ano sabihin ni Digong, yes sir.
Saguisag says Duterte's martial law proclamation is an overreaction. Tourism Secretary Wanda Teo on Thursday says the planned Nickelodeon theme park in Coron in northern Palawan is pushing through, despite fierce opposition from the conservation community. Teo says the developers, Nickelodeon's parent company Viacom International Media Networks, and partner Coral World Park Undersea Resorts Incorporated personally assured her that the project will not cause irreparable damage to the town's marine ecosystem, particularly the coral reefs. The executives met with Teo after various groups strongly opposed the project when it was announced in January. Teo says the developers explained their side and gave assurances that the project will not be detrimental to the environment. The tourism secretary admits she only learned about the project when she read the news reports earlier this year. Teo adds they haven't talked about when the project would begin. Conservation groups in the country are preparing to mount a campaign to stop the Nickelodeon project. Defeated United States presidential candidate Hillary Clinton on Wednesday blames her election loss to Donald Trump on Russian cyber attacks, saying Americans, including associates of the president, likely had a hand in the effort. Clinton says, quote, "The Russians, in my opinion, and based on the intel and counter-intel people I've talked to, could not have known how best to weaponize that information unless they had been guided." She adds some of the people helping the Russian had access to polling and data information. Clinton says, quote, "I'm leaning Trump. I think it's pretty hard not to." Trump strikes back in a tweet by criticizing Clinton for failing to take responsibility for her loss. Trump tweets, quote, "Crooked Hillary Clinton now blames everybody but herself, refuses to say she was a terrible candidate." Hits Facebook and even Dems and DNC. Clinton snaps back at the president also on Twitter. She tweets, quote, "People in Covfefe houses shouldn't throw Covfefe." Trump used gafefe, a non-existent word, in an incomplete sentence tweeted just after midnight Tuesday. The tweet remained online for some 5.5 hours, sparking worldwide ridicule. The message was finally deleted early Wednesday, and Trump joked about it in a subsequent tweet.